back to Day Squared. Today is going to be kind of an update video to my previous video, which was the pod, chocolate, and Matribox video. So this is going to be a video with a lot of talking probably, so if you wanted to watch this and watch all the playing, probably not going to have playing. If you're somebody who likes to hear about creative ways for building bevel boards, if you're somebody who has a Matribox 2 Pro and you want to kind of hear about some creative ways on how to use it, especially the effects loop in it, this is probably your video. So I've been working on this board for about 2 weeks now, and since that video with the adding the pod and adding the chocolate controller, MIDI controller, the chain has gone through several metamorphoses. The physicality of the board hasn't really changed much, other than changing out a few patch cables. So most of it is, signal chaining of wherever. So initially, when I first got the board built from that video, this was the signal chain. This was it, and as you can see, it's semi-complicated but not too complicated. So this was the chain that went after I finished building it and had the pod added. This was how the chain was working. It went from the receiver to the wah to the tuner to the AB box, and it split to the pod and the Matribox too. Obviously then keeping the less than Jake and NS2 in the effects loop and whatnot. So after that, I kind of had an epiphany on how I wanted to use the volume pedal to control both the Matribox and the pod, because originally how it's set up with this chain, the volume pedal was pretty much useless. It only controlled the Matribox. I couldn't control the pod. All I had was a mute switch on the chocolate controller. That was it. I didn't have an actual volume, and I kind of wanted to keep that volume because it's on the board. Why not use it? I can't get it off the board, So I had to figure out a way to use that volume pedal. So idea for that, or solution for that, was the effects loop. If I position the effects loop right after the volume, and also put the AB box in the effects loop, I will be able to control both the pod and the Matribox 2 with the volume pedal, which end up with this chain. Now you see it. The receiver went straight into the Matribox, and then on the effects line on the Matribox itself was volume, then the loop pedal, effects loop. There it is, effects loop. So on the effects loop, everything was in the effects loop. The AB box, the wah pedal, the tuner, the less than Jake pedal, everything that wasn't in the Matribox itself was in the effects loop. So with the effects loop, I was able to use that as a split point, and then go to the pod, and then the rest of the chain for the Matribox itself, and then they come together on a splitter cable. Then I had a better idea of how to fix this chain, because with that second chain, as you can see, it's quite complicated. So to somewhat simplify that, we came up with this third chain. And with this chain, the only thing in the effects loop is the AB box itself, because with the second chain, I had to do a lot of thinking, because it added the less than Jake pedal to both sides of the equation. So I had to go and consider how the less than Jake pedal reacts with not only the clean side of the Matribox, which I was already doing, but try to figure out how well it reacts with the dirty side of the Matribox. Then also how it reacts with the clean and dirty side of the pod. Come to find out, it actually reacted really well with all four sides. So it was able to just keep that on in the chain, hitting the amps all the time. So I was like, I don't need that in the effects loop. Take that out of the effects loop with everything else. The tuner and the wah pedal as well. So they're going to be hitting everything at the same time anyway. Now with that, I had to end up taking out both the tube screamers that I was using for the pod and the Matribox amps, dirty amps, because it was just too much excess noise, a lot of humming and whatnot. So once I took those out, it cleaned up everything, and then all the extra noise was gone. And luckily enough, the less than Jake pedal is acting as a boost for both the dirty channels of the pod and the Matribox itself. So that was, you know, I wasn't double boosting with the if I would have kept the tube screamers in. So that helped a lot. Cleaned up the signal. So now I have, with this new chain, you're going to the tuner, to the wah, to the NS2, to the Matribox, and that's all the first thing that the guitar hits. And once it gets into the Matribox itself, what I end up doing was taking the effects loop and kind of moving it down the chain a little bit as well. Since I got rid of the tube screamer, I added a compressor into that chain on the Matribox, so that helped out a good bit too. So I have a compressor now in there. So the volume, the compressor, and I also end up adding the chorus, the tremolo, and the flanger in front of the effects loop of the Matribox 2 Pro, so that way both amps are getting those effects. The delay is still after the amp on the Matribox 2, so the pod will not get any delay, which is fine because I kind of want the delay to be subtle in my sounds. So that's it. Just doing that simplified a lot. The volume controls both the pod and the Matribox. They're both getting effects that need to be on both sides. The less than Jake pedals is boosting both the overdrive channels for the Matribox and the pod, and it's also helping clean up and kind of push the cleans on the Matribox and the pod. Which update on the Matribox, this is after the A2 update for NAM files. I am now running on my dirty channel for the Matribox 2 Pro an MT100 dirty channel, which I'm super excited because I'm a big fan of Mark Tremonti. So yeah, and it actually sounds really well with the box pod. The pod Insane amp, they go really good together. It still gets that full body tone in there. So still running the 2 amps, it's great. Still running the Soldano 100s, I believe, on both the cleans. So the less than Jake pedal hits both of those great for the clean and for the yellow channel on the less than Jake pedal. So we still got that the OD1 channel coming from there. So that works great. Everything is working great. I'm super happy to simplify the signal chain, which I had a lot of time at work to think about this, and it's like scratching that itch to get back home and fix it. It's been fun. It's been cool. I've been able to change out a few cables that are make everything sleek. So I know one pedal that I can do that will replace the pod to make this pedal board fully self-contained, because right now the pod is off the board and it's the only thing that has to have a power supply, because the pod XT has to have an AC power supply. It can't just run off of a power supply like everything else is, like DC. And I've thought about this too, and it's probably not going to happen for a while because it's like $250 to do this, blah. If I were to replace the pod with a Tone X1 Plus to use that as the second amp on my board, that would make this entire board self-contained, which would be great. Setup would be a breeze. Just plug it down, turn the on button on, go to work. I won't have to worry about extra setup. I will still have to use the converter cable and the XLR splitter cable, but it's a trade-off. Not really, but it's you know, it's what it is. It is what it is. Because obviously, you know, it doesn't have an XLR, but it does have MIDI, so that's great. I can connect that to my Matribox 2 Pro with MIDI and control both at the same time. It'd be the exact same setup. It's just the little pedal on the board instead of the big pod on the side of the board. So it is what it is. it works well. Everything works well. I've had to test this and run this, and I've had to do reprogramming on certain things, because now on the Matribox itself, I don't have it to where the A button is overdrive clean, and then you have tremolo or phase, tremolo, chorus delay. All 4 pedals on the Matribox itself is a different modulation, and the delay is still the last one. So I got a flanger, tremolo, chorus, delay, and I have that linked, synced up with the chocolate controller. So now that they're indicators, meaning that there's only one effect on those buttons, and they're indicators, because on the Matribox, on the on the chocolate controller, I have it to where the A button is my overdrive clean, the second button is chorus delay, the third one is chorus delay flanger, and then I still have the mute button on the fourth button D. I don't need it per se, because I still have the volume control, but it does help when I need that quick kill. So I'm keeping that, and everything on the Matribox lights up when I hit the chorus, delay, flange. Those light up and it gives me an indication of, hey, those are on, and I know which one's which. So I'm making it work for me, and I'm making it simplified instead of having just a clean overdrive, light overdrive, blah. I'm making it a single button. The A button's gonna be smashed more than anything. On that chocolate controller, because that's gonna have my clean overdrive. So keeping it simple, especially for our song Pan, when I need to change quick on certain parts of the song. There's a song like when it's a horn breakdown, I'm playing a ska clean, and like at the end of the riff or the chord progression, it goes into a heavy part. I gotta switch that then right back into the ska clean, so I gotta be able to change that on the fly. So it works well. I am excited for our show next week. It's a big show. We're actually opening up for a big ska band in Baton Rouge, and so getting this all set up for next week has been like, gotta do this, gotta get, and then I still have to practice, which I know most of the stuff, but there's like a few parts that I really need to get practice down. So yeah, but anyway, just a kind of an update to the last one on how the signal chain, like I said, nothing physical on the board has changed. I did take off the tap tempo because I wasn't really using that, and mainly I was just trying to get everything on 90 BPM, which is what we use on our slow reggae ska part. So I just clocked it on 90 and just left it there, took off the tap tempo. Didn't need that, so I just put the actual pick Altoids can there now. So yeah, that's my signal chain. If you got any questions on any of the signal chains, and if this is actually helpful for you, if you think this was actually a good idea of how to use the effects loop on your Matribox 2, if you have one and you're thinking of how could I use the Matribox 2 effects loop to my advantage, this is how you can do it. You can turn it into a 2 amp system with the effects loop. It's great. I'm loving it. Having fun with it. The only issue that I had was when I added the splitter cable for the XLR splitter cable, running the 1/4 inch to XLR adapter cable out of the pod, then putting that together with the Matribox 2 into that splitter cable. For some reason, it sucked signal out of the Matribox 2. I don't know why. If I put solo by itself on the Matribox, it works fine. As soon as I plug in the pod, the volume just dropped. So my main solution with that was crank it up. Crank up the preset volume, crank up the master volume. The actual amp volumes aren't, spiked up. They're actually within adjustment range. So if I need to, I can adjust it that way. But just to get a full signal out of the Matribox 2, I just had to crank everything up on the preset volume and the master. So hey, it works. I've had also to test your cables before you go to a show, because I found out the hard way at last week's show that cable system didn't work like I thought it would. You live and you learn. So test your stuff before you do a show. But if you have comments and questions, please put them in the comments. If you're new to my channel and you thought this was interesting, or any of my other videos in my channel are interesting, please subscribe. I'm at 80 almost to 100. It's kind of my goal, is to get to at least 100 subscribers for my channel. I'm a nobody, but hey, whatever. If you like my videos, and like them, subscribe. Y'all have a good day.